Life is sweeter, sweeter on the other side.
Off the team, whatever, there's so much instability, so much that we don't understand, that we don't know. For me, growing up, it was, a lot of you guys know my mom died giving birth to me, and my dad remarried, then my stepmom died in a car accident when I was 9, then my dad got married again, then my dad died of cancer when I was 12, and so I'm in junior high, my mom's dead, my stepmom's dead, my dad's dead. The only close relatives I had were my aunt and uncle, George and Sandra. And then when I was in high school, they got in a fight, and my uncle George shot and killed my aunt, and then stuck the gun to his own head, killed himself. So I'm 16 years old, and this is life to me, going, man, what's next? Everything seems to be falling apart, and we get a little worried, we get a little scared. And this is what Christians do, they try to serve God, but then things get a little rocky. And things get a little unstable, and so we go, okay, that was nuts. I don't want to live like that. Let me hold on. And this is your routine. This is what so many people do. They go, you know what? I'm not going to try anything crazy. I'm just going to sit here, and I'm just going to hold on. And this is what you look like. You just go. This is what people do. You know what? I'm just going to have my nice little family. We're just going to. We're just going to keep to ourselves. We're going to live in a gated community. I'm going to homeschool my kids, make them wear helmets everywhere. I'm going to, I'm not going to let them outside because sun has bad rays. I'm going to, just on and on and on. And you just live your life in the safety of, I don't want to do anything crazy for God. I just want to, go to church on Sundays and maybe give like 2%. And maybe help the nursery because I feel guilty. And then you do this your whole life, and then you go, your greatest prayer is like, God, you know what? I would love to die in my sleep and not even feel it, and then just go up to heaven. And so you want to die like this, just in your sleep, right in the middle of a dream, good dream, the dream you're going to heaven, and you don't even feel it. And then suddenly you wake up, you stand before the judge, and you go, now, if could you imagine watching the Olympics, and some girl does that, just gets up there, starts straddling the thing, and then steps off and goes, what is the judge supposed to do on the card? You see, and to me, I go, man, that's the routine that so many Christians are headed for. That's the routine, the boring, I do nothing crazy because I don't want to fall. That's the routine that they're going to live, and then one day it's going to be a shock because they're going to step off that balance beam and realize they're standing before the judge. They're standing before the judge, and you think he's going to look at that routine and go, wow, well done. Well done. You lived the safest life possible. You didn't slip. You didn't fall. See, that's not the life that God's called us to. That's where the majority will head. But I don't want to go where the majority goes.
People always doubted my God. I mean, I remember when we got married, my wife and I, and we were going to start this church, this little gathering, and people were like, I remember one of the first weeks, someone even said to me, Francis, no one comes here because of you. No one cares to hear you. We're here because we're, it's our friends and everything else. So just understand that. It's like, oh, okay, all right. I just, it's just from day one. But I remember even, and here's the thing, and this is, but this is about my God. I remember the money thing. At first just going, no, I don't want to take any money from the church. And people just kept saying, no, don't worry, my God will come through for me. And then we started taking this little salary, and everyone's like, no, you should take a bigger salary. You know what? I go, you know what? I'm going to be okay with this. God's going to be okay. And everyone in my face going, look, that's not fair to your kids. They'll never get to go to college or whatever else. And we're like, no, you know what? If we lived off of 36 grand, we can live off 36 grand next year. Until let's just see what God does. Let's see what happens. And then, everything, the refrigerator breaks down, and suddenly that day someone will go, hey, I got a fridge, do you need it? I accidentally bought 2, or whatever, It's just crazy, things. I could tell you story after story after story. When everyone says, oh, that's so dumb. And I'm going, man, but people are in need overseas. I mean, they're dying today. Like someone's just trying to look for clean water. How can I justify this or this or this? I would just trust me, they'll be okay. And they're like, well, your kids in the future, and you got to worry about them. I go, no, don't worry. They'll get a scholarship, something. Something will happen. Money will come through. I just got to worry about today, and I got to worry about the kingdom today, and seek that first. And you know what? If that person's dying today, why am I worried about myself? What it'll be like 30 years from now? I got to think about now, and I got to trust this kingdom thing's going to work. And just as things start happening, just in faith and giving, it was always just shut down. It was always like, don't do that. When I came back from Africa and I just saw the need, it's like, oh, I just want to help them. Just sell the house and let's just move in this little place. And it was like, oh, you can't do that, to your kids. And that was the greatest time of our lives, and then it's just, and then as we gave more and more, I remember one year just going, gosh, do I feel like you're saying you want me to give $50,000 this year, to the church? And I'm going, I don't even make $50,000, but let's just see what happens. And sure enough, these things just started happening and money started coming in. I'm going, no way. We gave away 50 grand. I think I made that last year, and I gave that away this year. This is insane. I feel like he wants me to give 100,000 this next year, And suddenly things start happening, and wow, we were able to give away $100,000. It's like, are you kidding me? And then it was like, oh, no. I really believe that he wanted me to give away $1 million this last year. And we did. When we gave over the royalties, again, it was like, wow, we just gave away everything. It was $1 million and it's still going and everything else. And what do people say? You know what? That wasn't smart. That wasn't wise. You should have taken some and locked it away in case of emergency. And I would just go, so you're saying what's happening in Ethiopia isn't an emergency? What's happening in Thailand is not an emergency. What's happening in Haiti, that's not an emergency is only if it affects you and your kids. But these other, who cares about Africans or the Indians or the the people in the Haitians? That's not an emergency. Emergency is you and your family. And that's just silly to just give and care or whatever. And it's people just constantly, it's like, okay, did you make $1 million this year? Is your income 10 times from last year by living responsibly? And don't you go living by faith. I go, no, I'm done with it. I want to just stand here and brag about my God who's come through for me ever since day one, from believing him like a little kid, going, man, I can give every single thing away. I can take my family anywhere. I can take them through the valley of the shadow of death. You know what? In October, we're going to India. We're going to Thailand. We're going to China. We're going to wherever. And you know what? My God's going to be with me. And we can give and do anything. And I'm tired of people telling me, oh, no. Now you got to be responsible. Now you got to be responsible because you're older and you got to be more. You got kids now. You got 4 kids. You got this. You got that. No, I've got the same shepherd. I've got the same shepherd. And we got to keep looking at the future. You look at your past, you're going to get depressed, and you're going to get stuck in your past. You look to your future and go, man, what is that moment going to be like? See, my actions, a lot of the things I do is because I'm thinking about my future. And I'm thinking about that moment when I see Jesus because I realize that everything I do is going to bring either reward or regret. On that day, that future, when I see Jesus, what is going to bring reward and what's going to bring regret? Yeah, I mean, we've all bought things we regret, right? You go, oh, that was a waste of money. That's a waste of money. That's a waste of money. Think about what we're going to say at the end. When we stand before God, are you going to regret the car you drove, regret the house you lived in, regret the clothes you wore, regret, just everything? What are you going to regret? How about your time and how you spent it? Are you going to go, oh, I'm so glad I watched 7,000 movies? Or are you going to regret, wow, I wasted all of that time down? It's about the future. Imagine this rope. Okay, pretend this rope just goes on forever. Okay? Just imagination. Pretend it goes around the world a few times. It doesn't. It ends at the rock. But let's just imagine this thing goes on forever. Now imagine that this rope is a timeline of your existence. You just exist forever. You see this red part? This would represent your time on earth. You've got a few short years here on earth, and then you've got all of eternity somewhere else. And what blows me away is some of you, all you think about is this red part. It's all you think about. You're consumed with this. You go, oh man, I can't wait till here. You know, I'm going to work hard. I'm going to save so I can really enjoy this part right here. And you're consumed with that, and you're thinking, oh man, am I going to get to travel? Am I going to eat well? Am I going to do this during this part? And I'm like, are you kidding me? What about this? What about this? What about all this stuff? It's crazy to me because the Bible teaches that what I do during this little red part determines how I'm going to exist for millions and millions and millions of years forever. And so why would I spend this little red part trying to make myself as comfortable as possible, enjoying myself as much as I can? Paul says, look, I'm going to live my life for this mission. I'm going to spend my life, invest my life for this moment when I cross that finish line. See, I'm going to forget about all this stuff I could enjoy, and I'm not going to look around. I'm going to be like a runner, just looking at that moment when I face God, because when I face Him, then I don't get this chance over again. We get one chance at this life on earth, and it can end at any second for any of us. We've got one chance at this, and then comes eternity. And I'm not going to be fooled. I'm not going to spend my life down here. See, people look at some of my decisions and go, oh, you're so stupid because that's going to really affect this. I go, no, you're stupid because it's going to affect all of this. Man, I'm serious. I look at the way people live and I go, wow, that is so crazy. You are so crazy. You're going to do that right now, just to enjoy right now, not even knowing if you have tomorrow, and you think that's smart and that I'm dumb? It doesn't make any sense. Paul goes, I'm not going to look around at all this stuff. And it's tempting. It's tempting to all of us. That's what I'm saying. Down here, it's crazy because everyone lives that way. Everyone lives for the red part. No one's thinking about the millions of years afterwards. It's just this crazy deception that we can't get out of our minds. And Paul goes, I'm not doing that. He goes, I keep my eyes on that. I keep my eyes on that finish line, and I'm going to forget what's behind me. I'm not looking around. I'm straining. He goes, I'm straining forward. I'm like stretching forward for that mark. I'm going to pass this thing. I'm going to live this out, and I'm going to face Him. I'm going to come before the judges, and He's going to hand me that trophy. He goes, I'm going to get it. And I haven't gotten there yet. He goes, but you better believe I'm using every muscle, exerting every bit about me, because I'm going to pass that line well.